Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. We are Group 14 morning session. We present to you about cookies. Cookies is mean a small cake. Cookies is a small sweet, crispy or cake-like pastry. Most often cookies are made with flour, sugar, fat and liquid. Some cookies are made from cake batter. Cookies formula is less liquid than cake formula. They are characterized by high sugar content, high fat content, and low moisture. Most cookies have a shape.
I will explain about the characteristic and their causes for the cookies. First, crispiness. Factor that contribute to the crispiness is low proportion of the liquid in the mix. The dough will become brittle and not consistent. The low amount of water used can delay or prevent starch gelatinization or pasting during baking process. Next, gluten development also hindered by the high fat concentration found in cookies. Evaporation of moisture during baking due to high temperature or low baking also can cause crispiness in our cookies. Next, small size or thin shape, so the cookies dry quickly during baking. For the softness, their causes is different to the crispiness. And first, we need high proportion of liquid in the mix. Second, low sugar and fat content. When mixed into flour, fat coats some of the flour and protect it from the liquid. This prevents gluten from developing and making the cookies more tender and less chewy. Next, large size or thick shape. Because of this, cookies will retain its moisture in it and can cause softness. Honey, molasses or corn syrup included in formula. These sugars are hygroscopic, which is they readily absorb moisture from the air or from their surrounding, so it leads to softness to our cookies. And lastly, proper storage. Cool the cookies completely before storing, or trap steam can turn them from crisp into soggy. Chewiness. Chewiness lead by high sugar and liquid content but low fat content. Second, high proportion of egg. It is a major source of moisture and protein in cookie dough. The liquid in it gives a cookie structure by bonding with the starch and protein in the flour, and their protein helps to make cookies chewy. Strong flour or gluten develop during mixing. Gluten strand in the flour generate a chewy texture, and high protein content aids to produce more chewy texture because with higher protein content, hence more gluten strands are formed. The molasses add moisture, and because it's slightly acidic, causes the protein in cookie dough to firm up faster, creating a chewy texture. As for the spread, it has 4 factors: sugar, leavening, temperature, and liquid. If we use high sugar content, it will increase the spread. If we use high baking soda or ammonia, it will also encourage the spread, and so does long creaming with incorporated air. Third, temperature. Higher temperature helps prevent the dough from spreading and facilitate browning. Liquid, a slab batter that is one with high liquid content, will spread more than stiff dough.
There are 3 types of mixing method, which is one-stage method, creamy method, and sponge method. The one-stage method is the counterpart of blending or two-stage cake mixing. For the creamy method for cookies is nearly identical to the creamy method for cakes. The sponge method for cookies is essentially the same as the edge foam method for cakes. First, scale all ingredients and have all ingredients at room temperature. 2. Mix all the ingredients until uniformly blend. Third, scrape down the side of the bowl as necessary. The procedure for creaming method. There are 4 steps for the creaming method. For the first, scale all the ingredients accurately and have all ingredients at the room temperature. 2. Place the pack sugar, salt and spice in the mixing bowl with a pedal attachment. Cream this ingredient at the low speed. For the light cookies, cream until mix is light and fluffy. For dense, cream only slightly. For third step, add the edge and liquid if any and blend it at low speed. Fourth step, add the dry ingredient and mix until done. For the sponge method, there are 3 steps, which is first step, scale all the ingredients accurately, have all the ingredients at room temperature or warm the edge slightly for greater volume. As for the sponge cake, second step is follow the procedure given in the formula used. White the edge and sugar to the proper stage, which is thick and light for whole edge or yolks and soft peak for whites. The last step is fold in the remaining ingredient as specified in the recipe. Be careful not to overmix or deflate the edge.
Next is type and makeup methods. So there are 7 type and makeup method, which is drop cookies, bake cookies, roll cookies, molded, ice box, bar and shake cookies. First is drop cookies. Drop cookies are made from soft dough or butter, which is a drop cookies is shape of cookies are made before we bake it into the ovens, and using proper size of scoop to give variety of cookie size. Rich cookies spread by themselves at baking sheets. So this is an example of scoops and also drop cookies. So number 2 is bag cookies. Create bag cookies by pulling soft dough into a bag of pastry, and the dough must be soft enough to be forced through a pastry bag but stiff enough to hold its shapes. Fit a pastry bag with a tip of the desired size and shape. Press out cookies of desired shape and size directly onto prepared cooking sheets. And this, for example, is biscuits and bread and so on. So number 3 is rolled cookies. Rolled cookies, which are cut from a stiff dough. When re-rolled, these scraps make inferior tough cookies. The step of rolled cookies are chill dough thoroughly, rolled dough into 3 mm thick by using small amount of flour to avoid toughened cookies, and cut out cookies with cookies cutter and place on prepared baking sheets and cut as close as together to reduce quantity of scraps of rolled cookies. 4 is molded cookies. Each piece is then molded into a desired shape. This usually consists of simply flatten the pieces out of a weight, for example cans. And for some traditional cookies, special molds are used to flatten the dough and at the same time stamp it with a design. So the pieces may also be shaped by hand into crescents, fingers, or other shapes. Number 1, roll the dough into long cylinder about 1 inch thick and size that required. And number 2, refrigerated the dough if it's too soft to handle. Number 3, with a knife or bench scraper, cut the roll into 30 gram and another size that you want. Number 4, place the pieces on prepared baking sheets, leaving 2 inches space between them. Number 5, flatten the cookies with a weight or dip it into a granulated sugar. Number 6, a fork is sometimes used for flatten the dough. For example, for the peanut butter cookies. This is an example of peanut butter cookies and also brown sugar molded. Number 5 is ice box cookies. The ice box cookies or refrigerated method is ideal for operations that wish to have freshly baked cookies on hand at all times. So the roll of dough may be made up in advance and stored. Cookies can easily be cut or baked as needed. How to make ice box cookies? Number 1, scale dough into pieces of uniform size. Number 2, form the dough into cylinder from 1 to 2 inches, depend on the size. Number 3, wrap the cylinder in a parchment or wax paper. Place them on the sheet pans and refrigerated overnight. The clue is refrigerated overnight. Number 4, unwrap the dough and cut into slice or uniform thickness that you want. A slicing machine is recommended for ensuring even thickness. Those contain nuts or fruit should be sliced with a knife. And number 5, place the slice on prepared baking sheets, allowing 2 inches space between them. of iceberg cookies, penguin iceberg, Martha Stewart, and vanilla nuts. So number 6 is bar cookies. Bar cookies are also called because the dough is shaped into long bars, which are baked and then cut. After cutting, they may be baked again, as in case of biscotti, which means twice baked. Do not confuse bar cookies and sheet cookies, because bar cookies are more thick than sheet cookies. How to make bar cookies? Number 1, scale the dough into 800 grams or 500 grams, depend on the size that you want. Number 2, shape the pieces of dough into cylinder length of the sheet pans. Place 3 strips on each grease pan, spacing them well apart, and then flatten the dough with the finger into strips about 8 to 10 cm wide and 6 mm thick. If required, brush with egg wash. Number 5, bake. Number 6, after baking, while cookies stay warm, cut each strip bars into 4.5 cm wide. A picture of bar cookies. Number 7 is sheet cookies. Some of them are almost like sheet cakes, only denser and richer. They may even be iced like sheet cakes. Other consist of 2 or 3 layers added and baked in separate stage. How to make sheet cookies? First, spread the cookies mixture into prepared sheet pans, and then make sure the thickness is even. And then, if required, you can add a topping or brush with an egg wash, and then bake and cool, and then apply icing or topping, and then last step is cut into individual square or rectangle.
Proceed with the panning, baking and cooling. For preparing the pans, use clean unwrapped pans. Lining the sheet with parchment or silicone paper is fast and it eliminates the necessity of greasing the pan, because you must remember a heavily greased pan increases the spread of the cookies. A greased and flour pan decrease spread. Second, for the baking, baking at high temperature for a short time. Too low temperature increase spreading and may produce hard, dry or pale cookies. If too high temperature can decrease the spreading and may burn the edges or bottom of the cookies. The doneness can be indicated by the color. The edges or bottom just be turning light golden color. And for the excess browning can be prevented by the double panning or 2 cookie sheet of the same size, one placed on top of one another. Next, for the cooling, remove the cookies from the pan while they are still warm or they will stick. If the cookies are very soft, do not remove until they are cool enough and firm to be handled. Cookies may be soft when it hot, but it become crisp when cool. Do not cool the cookies too rapidly or in cool draft, or they may crack. And lastly, cool completely before storing.